everyone, and welcome to the Life Lessons YouTube channel. My name is Joe, and I am your host. What I want to talk to you about today is a Facebook post that I read that kind of impressed upon me. It opened up my mind to, how life can work for you and how you might think things should go, dreams, desires that you might have had as a younger person, and then fast forward to, eventually how things play out. I read a post from a friend of mine, and he posted the following. Okay, he said, "You are not living the life you dreamt of as a kid. Why? Question mark. You are not living the life you dreamt of as a kid. Why? Question mark." And it brought a few things to my mind and my emotions. Initially I felt, well, wow, I was a kid when I dreamed such things. If I'm an adult now, does it make sense to live out my childhood dream as an adult? Does that even make sense? Would I live out the dream of a 6-year-old? All right. Would I live out the dream of a 12-year-old, right, as a preteen, and what I thought I would be as an adult from the perspective of a 12-year-old? Would I do the same thing from the perspective of a 21-year-old? I was less wise. I didn't really know myself then. Could I have fully captured the dream of my future self as a young man? Is it even possible? So many things change. I may have been delusional. Maybe I can't become an NBA player because I'm not tall enough and I'm not athletic enough. Maybe I tried and I decided that's not what I wanted to do. Maybe I achieved it and then decided that I hate it. That happens all the time. So that was my first thought. Do you really want to be what you wanted to be as a kid, as an adult? Does that even make sense? That was my first thought. So, I put a comment there, and here was my comment. I said, well, I'd say you win some and you lose some, but in your dreams, you win them all. You win some and you lose some, but in your dreams, you win them all. And how true is that? Who dreams of losing? Who has grand ideas of not succeeding, of not reaching some level? We all win in our dreams. We never lose, right? So of course, in your dream, everything worked out for you. In your dream, you met the challenge head on and you won. That always happens in your dream. In your dreams, you took the happy path. And that was how you saw yourself moving through the world. You didn't foresee the challenges that come up in real life. And so the reality of it is, in your dreams as a kid, especially, you had dreams of winning. You had dreams of success. You lived happily ever after in your dreams. And that's how dreams work. But in reality, okay, you win some and you lose some. Not to say that you're still not living out your dream. The image of your dream changes the more real life steps into play. And if you've never lost and you can't relate to what I'm saying, then just wait a little bit. Nobody wins them all. Any challenge that comes up, sometimes you lose. Sometimes you don't get the job, right? Sometimes you don't win the game. Sometimes you don't get the girl or boy. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. Sometimes your car breaks down. Okay. Sometimes you don't get the house that you wanted. Someone else outbid you. You win some and you lose some. And that's the reality of life. So I think really the difference here was that in your dreams, you'll always dream of success. But in reality, you may get to success at the end, but the path that you took is probably going to be some hurdles that you didn't foresee. And in that way, you may not necessarily live out your dream. But at the end of the day, what you get to is where you want it to be. But it's not the same as how you envisioned it as a child. Because I think as a child, you think of things in childish ways. I always wonder, and this is something that I think comes up in midlife crises. You kind of begin to think, okay, I've lived through my 20s and my 30s based on some trajectory that I put together as a young man, as maybe a 17, 18-year-old going from high school to college. This trajectory was conceived then. And then after I graduate in my early 20s, the trajectory that I saw for myself now as a 40-something was conceived then. And so I think back and I wonder, I'm working off of ideas of a young 21-year-old me. I've grown since then. I've matured since then. Should I upgrade my thought processes? Should I upgrade my idea of success and my trajectory to make sense for a 40-year-old man as opposed to as a 20-year-old man? And I think many of us, what we do is we set off on this path from, a young person, and we see ourselves forward as a 30-something and 40-something. And we think by the time I'm this age, I will be doing this. By the time I'm this age, I'll be doing that. But that's all coming from a 20-something-year-old mind. Is that something that you'll want to do when you're 35, 40? You don't know. You're 20-something. But I think many of us, what we do is we'll sit up as a 21, 22-year-old person and decide what we're wanting to do when we're 40-something. And then as we move through the world as a 30-something and 40-something, we hold on to those thought processes and trajectories. So then we look at ourselves at 40 and we think, wow, I haven't achieved. I'm nowhere where I thought I would be. Well, when you thought of where you would be, you were 20. You were unwise. You were probably pretty ignorant and inexperienced. You didn't know what you wanted to be. Now, I think it makes sense to kind of reality check yourself. And I think that's what midlife does. It puts you in check. It says, well, I wanted to be an astronaut at 20, but, at 40, I really don't want to do that. What do I want to do for real? And, hopefully the sooner rather than later, you kind of pick up on that so you can make adjustments to actually live out your real dream and not your childish dream. So, all right, guys, that's all I got for today. Thanks for listening.